What's up YouTube? This video is going to be about why you guys should be using Google Photos. Let's get into it. Okay, if you don't know, Google Photos is a service for you to back up your photos and videos to the cloud using your Google account. And it's completely free, which is already a reason for you to use it. Backing up your photos in the cloud is of course a great way to save storage and kind of get less dependent on having the latest smartphone that has enough storage to keep all that high quality video and image data. And what's great about Google Photos is that it allows you to upload both your photos and videos in high quality. You might see some slight reduction that isn't really noticeable, and for being free I think it's totally worth it. For iPhone users it even is impossible for Google to convert the codecs that is being used on Apple's side to a lower quality, so it actually stores that in full quality, which is amazing. So the way I've been using it is that I've just been setting that up on my iPhone, and as I moved on to Android it was super easy, barely an inconvenience to move my photos over to my new device. I'm able to access it from my Mac as well from the browser. It allows me to easily transfer files from my phone to the computer if I do a screen recording. Like I'm probably doing in this video, I can just open that up in Google Photos on my browser and just download it locally and use it in my video editing app. So apart from that basic functionality, you also get a lot of smart features that have been introduced by Google engineers. Some of these are pretty cool. For example, there's smart storage that automatically only keeps the latest photos and videos on your device and removes the older ones in order to keep storage on your device if needed. If you never run out of storage, it's just not gonna delete anything locally, which is cool. It also regularly asks you to archive photos which might be duplicates or just not needed. If it's just a screenshot or a picture of a bill you got at a restaurant and you already resolved it because it was like 6 months ago, Google is gonna propose these types of photos to you in order for you to archive them or delete them off the cloud. And that really helps you to sort out your library, because you're never gonna go back to these photos you took 6 months ago and delete all of them single-handedly. At least that's not usually the case. So apart from that, you also get access to Smart Search, which is implemented in some other photo libraries as well, but I think it works very well with Google's algorithm. For example, you might be able to search for a location like Kyoto and just get pictures taken there from the geolocation tag that you had in the photo. You might also search for certain items which might be recognized in the photo or video you took, because I could just search for palm trees and it's going to show me pictures of palm trees in the background or in the video, even if it's not on the first image of the video. And that is something that can be very useful, especially if you have a huge library. You can also search for certain time periods, like spring, and get all the spring photos across all years of your photo library. And I realized it takes me a lot less time to find pictures of what I'm looking for. If I had a cool recipe, I could just search up one of the ingredients like rice and it's gonna show me pictures of rice dishes I did, and I'm gonna easily find the picture of that recipe, which is amazing. So apart from these fancy features, there's also basic things like putting up brightness, shadows, highlights, exposures, and kind of just adjusting your photo, very basic photo editing. But I think it's pretty much enough for me to make some slight adjustments to remove shadows from my picture and post it to my Instagram stories or wherever. And you might also get a suggestion to automatically stylize that photo, that's how they call it. So they have something in mind which might be the perfect setting for this picture, and they suggest that to you for you to use it. And sometimes I just went with that because I didn't want to do much editing and just found that this stylized version of the photo looks slightly better than the original, and I would just go ahead and post it. Last reason on my list for why to use Google Photos is shared photo albums. Imagine going on a trip with your friends and you all take pictures, and 3 times a day people ask you to send them that picture of them where they look good because they wanted to use it for something or they just wanted to keep it. Now you could just send over these pictures all the time using WhatsApp and probably using Quality, but you could also set up a shared album on Google Photos where everyone has access to. Now most people have a Google account by using YouTube or Gmail, or they can just create a new account or be a guest on that shared album And that way you can just automatically upload all these photos to that shared album and everyone can just download whatever they want from it. It's kept in one single place. Everyone can go through the entire list and see everyone's photos, and it's very collaborative and you save yourself a lot of effort. And I can always go back and just look at that trip I went on and go through all the photos that everyone took, and that's amazing. Now there's probably more reasons for why to use Google Photos, but these have been my favorites. However, there's also reasons why not to use Google Photos. Biggest one being privacy and security of your pictures. So Google Photos is accessible by a web browser or just using your Google credentials, so it might be able for people to hack you and get access to these photos. So you should never store very sensitive pictures in the cloud, like nudes, financial information, passwords, and that sort of stuff. So I would just make a habit of that. Maybe set up two-factor authorizations to make it harder for people to get into your account, because they would have to confirm that login by having your phone, which is less likely than just having your credentials. And yeah, you might be able to save storage on your local device, but you also require an internet connection whenever you want to access these photos, which are in the cloud and not locally. There's ways to set this up to sync and be pretty seamless, especially if you have a lot of storage left, and just keep the most recent photos. But that's also something to keep in mind. So if you're out in the desert somewhere, you might not be able to access your oldest photos, which is a drawback. Anyways, I really enjoy using Google Photos. It helps you keep all that stuff somewhere else for someone else to worry about. It also brings some very cool features, and it makes it really easy to use multiple devices or switch to a new one. Let me know what you guys think about Google Photos down below if you have any tips on how to use it. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.